Late today, I spoke to the Treasurer, now Acting Prime Minister, in Brisbane. Wayne Swan, welcome.
Good to be with you.
You've been talking a lot about workforce participation recently, but do you still need to lift the skilled migration intake?
Well, certainly what we do need to do is to respond to the needs of our economy, and we have done a lot domestically in terms of training skilled labour. We will have to do more, and we'll also have to do as much as we possibly can to lift domestic labour force participation, and the Prime Minister has made that very clear. I think you would be aware that in terms of temporary skilled labour, the 457 program is not capped, so business does have the opportunity to bring in more skilled migrants should they require them for particular projects, and we've been working closely with the resources sector. Minister Bowen and before him Minister Gray have worked closely with the sector in terms of attending to their needs, but we're all going to have to do a lot better, both government and business, when it comes to attending to the skill needs of our domestic workforce as well as domestic labour force participation.
Is there still too much of a time lag on the 457 visa program though?
Well, certainly when we came to power there was an enormous time lag. There was huge delays. Our ministers have done a lot to reform that system. They're bringing down the waiting times and the processing times. We understand this is very important, and we've also been talking to industry about the needs that they have in terms of some of the larger projects and what their requirements will be. We are absolutely focused on the importance of, on the one hand, increasing our domestic labour force participation, making sure that Australians get the opportunities that will flow from Mining Boom Mark II, and also making sure that these very important projects for the future wealth and prosperity of our country have access to the skilled labour they need if they have to import it.
You talked today about the outlook for the budget. You're enjoying the best terms of trade in 140 years. Surely that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's certainly a great thing. I talked a lot today about the differences between Mining Boom Mark II and Mining Boom Mark I. There's no doubt that prices are higher now, but we have a dollar which is also far higher, and we have a different set of circumstances. One of the points I made today is that we are in a very intense investment phase in the resources sector, and of course that has consequences for the flow of tax revenue as well. In addition to that, domestic circumstances outside the resources sector are different from what they were in Mining Boom Mark I. The point I've been making is we've got a shorter term revenue weakness which has flowed from the natural disasters and lower growth this year. I've made the point that we could lose up to 0.75% in terms of growth in 10-11, but we've got a very, very strong outlook, particularly with that pipeline of resource sector investment. But it's not going to play out in our economy in quite the same way that Mining Boom Mark I played out.
But the problem that you've got is a political one in the short term, isn't it? That means that your deficit this financial year, where you land this financial year, and next financial year, are likely to be larger than you projected.
Well, certainly there is a temporary downturn in revenues. As you know, under our fiscal rules, we bank upward revisions in revenue. What we will certainly see is a temporary reduction in revenue which has flowed from these short-term impacts of the natural disasters, but at home and abroad.
And larger
We're absolutely
deficit?
determined to bring the budget back to surplus in 12-13 because that very big investment pipeline is going to test the capacity of our economy. So we see the surplus in 12-13 as being absolutely fundamental, and to go on and build